are pre-Friday, a.k.a. Thursday, only today and tomorrow to go, and then I'm gone for at least a short while. Last night, I stayed an hour later catching up on all the podcast episodes that I hadn't uploaded that needed to be uploaded. It is all caught up now. If you want to hear any previous afternoon show, you can find Peach's Pit Party wherever you get your podcasts. You can also go to riverbendmediagroup.com. Now, I don't know about you, but when you travel anywhere, do you like to plan everything out? Or do you just like to show up and go with the flow? I'm more of a go with the flow kind of guy. Like, sure, I'll make some plans, but nothing too crazy to where I feel like I'm a celebrity going from one scheduled appearance to the next. That would just drive me crazy. And there's always going to be people that you don't see when it comes to making a trip back to your hometown. That's just how it goes. You kind of do what you used to do on MySpace, and you rank your friends, and you say, okay, I want to see these top 5 people, and the rest, well, if I see them, I'll see them. If I wanted to see everybody, I would make like a 2-week vacation in order to see everyone. I'm sure my Uncle Sonny would probably want to see me. I have a few friends that want to see me, but now I've reached that point in my life where some of my friends that I've known since middle school are now leaving Southern California. One of them already left. He moved to Nashville, Tennessee. He's now there with his wife. Another one who moved 2 hours away from our hometown is going to move again to either Oregon or Massachusetts, which is pretty crazy. I have another friend who's going to be going to Sacramento, which is still in California, but it's 12 hours away. I'm not driving that far. You know, once you become an adult, everyone goes their separate ways, but at least now we have tons of methods of keeping in touch, like Discord. Of course, we got our smartphones, we got social media, all of that. I think social media killed the high school reunion, pretty much. But anyway, if you want to give me a call, you can over at 208-535-1015. I still need to talk with Viktor about traffic school powered by the advocates, if it's going to happen or not, since I'm the one hosting it because he's out this week. Last time I checked, Lieutenant Crane was going to have to call in, so I'll keep you updated on that. You can also find traffic school powered by the advocates available on demand wherever you get your podcasts, and I'll continue Peach's Pit Party here in just a few on K-Bear 101. Now, this was some wild news last night. The wife of Weezer bassist Scott Schreiner, Jillian Lauren, she was shot by LA police Tuesday while they were pursuing 3 hit-and-run suspects. Yeah, I saw that headline, immediately put it on our Facebook page at K-Bear 101 FM. LAPD officers claim they were assisting the California Highway Patrol in finding 3 suspects following a hit-and-run in the Eagle Rock neighborhood. Shortly into their search, they were checking behind a residence for one of the suspects when they spotted Lauren outside a home with a handgun. So police claim they commanded her to drop the gun multiple times, but claim that she refused and pointed it at them, and then officers, shot her right then and there, which is awful. But, I mean, TMZ reports that Lauren ran back into her home, and then 30 minutes later, Lauren and her babysitter emerged from the house with their hands up and surrendered to cops. LAFD paramedics took her to a local hospital to be treated for non-life-threatening injuries. TMZ reports that she was absentee booked for attempted murder, but KTLA reports that Lauren and the babysitter were released from police custody on Tuesday, so it's not clear if the DA will go ahead with the charges. And then it says here at the very end, Scott Schreiner and Weezer are scheduled to perform at Coachella on Saturday. Yeah, we'll see if that even happens. We'll see. This is definitely a great question. Once you start living on your own, you realize how expensive some things are. Like for me, I get shocked every time I go to buy one of those mega packs of paper towels or toilet paper. I go, do I really need that many rolls, or do I go for the much cheaper 2-roll option, but then I have to buy them more frequently? It's like buying $20 worth of gas, and then you run out of gas pretty shortly afterward, and you got to go back to the gas station. So what's something you didn't realize was expensive until you actually had to buy it? I saw this on Reddit. I'll for sure ask this for to Peach their own later this afternoon. Outdoor furniture. For sure. For the longest time, I just wanted a simple patio furniture set, and everywhere they were expensive. Everywhere. But the cheap ones would always sell out. Like there'd be some cheap options, like tiny little chairs available at Target, gone within an instant. As soon as they put out their spring-summer collection, It's all gone. A cemetery plot. Oh, that's going to be a nightmare. Dental care, veterinary care, new tires for sure. Luckily, I don't have to deal with this, but bras. Well, I did buy my ex a couple once, and they were rather expensive. The fancy Victoria's Secret kind, Insurance, definitely. Child care, a mattress. Luckily, my dad bought me a new mattress when I moved out here. He's like, I'll get you the new bed. We just need you out of the house. Please, you're 24. Move out. What's something you didn't realize was expensive until you actually had to buy it? I'll have to ask this later on this afternoon for to each their own. You might want to start digging through old boxes, those old boxes in the garage that you most likely have, because some of that 80s junk you forgot about, it is now collector gold. We're talking first edition Transformers, original Nintendo systems, vintage Swatch watches, even those chunky old school Casio keyboards. If you've got an old Macintosh or Rubik's Cube or a legit pair of Air Jordan 1s collecting dust somewhere, you might be sitting on a payday. I was looking here at this list that was put out there that people are now selling these collector's items from the 80s for huge bucks. And I mean huge bucks. Looking at more of the stuff here, vintage band t-shirts, Polaroid cameras from the 80s, He-Man and Masters of the Universe action figures, old school Sony Walkmans, pretty much anything 80s. If you just have it sitting there as a DC, a dust collector, you might as well try to sell it. Now, this is hilarious. The two longest losing streaks in college baseball came to an end on Tuesday when New York's Yeshiva University, which had lost 99 straight games. Imagine that. Imagine being on that team going back to 2022. They played Lemon College, losers of their last 42 games, which is still a ton, but compared to Yeshiva, that's not that bad. Those two colleges faced each other in a doubleheader. Lemon College won the opening game in extra innings, snapping their losing streak and giving Yeshiva its 100th consecutive loss. But the Yeshiva Maccabees battled back in the second game, won 9-5 to snap their streak. I feel like they intentionally made those two schools face each other so that way they could both end their losing streaks for at least one game and then go back to losing. LeBron James is the all-time NBA scoring king and a four-time champion, but now he's really made it. He's in the Barbie universe. Mattel announced that the LA Lakers star is the first professional athlete to have a Ken doll released in his likeness. The James doll will be 1 inch taller than the standard Ken doll, comes with multiple accessories designed by James. Now, it costs $75 and goes on sale April 14th at midnight through Target, Amazon, Walmart, and Mattel Creations. I have a good feeling that thing's going to sell out, and there's going to be a lot of dudes who won't admit they bought one, but they'll have it in their room. Buffalo, New York might just be the most painful sports city in the U.S. The near misses of the Bills in the playoffs have been well documented. But did you know that the Sabres have just missed the NHL playoffs for the 14th season in a row? That's an NHL record. And they are now tied with the New York Jets for the longest active playoff drought in pro sports. A lot of losers today in this Shot Clock Sports Update. That does it right here on K-Bear 101. You know how everyone has now moved on to flipping Pokemon cards? Even the sneaker reseller guys have moved on to trying to make a profit off of these Pokemon cards. There's this story out of Japan where they have this small town called Kawara. I believe that's how you say it. The hottest trading cards aren't Pokemon or even Yu-Gi-Oh! No, they're middle-aged men. Not even kidding. They've created this card game featuring 47 local, is it Ojisan? Ojisan? I wish Russell was here. He speaks Japanese. Older guys from the community, each with their own stats and special abilities. You've got Mr. Honda, aged 74, a retired fire brigade chef with the firewall move. Mr. Takeshita, the soba master, aged 81, and the all-star Mr. Fuji, a 68-year-old former prison officer who's now the town's MVP and community volunteer. Kids are literally lining up to get his autograph. I thought this was cool. The whole thing's actually boosted community participation as well and brought different generations together. I think that'd be fun. We should start the trading cards for K-Bear DJs. Make three starter ones. Jade, me, Victor, Make Lou Brutus's a special edition rare card, something like that. I don't know. Be the first radio station to have her own trading cards. That'd be awesome. I've seen this story pop up in a few places, and I meant to talk about it earlier on in the week. This lady took her kids to go get some ice cream at on the National Mall, and she was charged $88 for 4 small cups of ice cream. And she honestly thought the food truck vendor made a mistake, but no. The food truck vendor said, like, nope, not a mistake. You are getting charged $88 because it's $22 a cup for ice cream. Food trucks are like the one place I know that are more expensive than a millennial burger spot. Have you seen those memes about millennial burger spots? It's hilarious. You get charged like $18 for the burger alone. Fries are like $5 if you want to make them Cajun, quote unquote, where they just put seasoning on top. It's $7. And then they say their sodas are handcrafted, so they can charge you like $3 to $4 for one of those. You end up spending about like close to $30 for a burger combo. And you can just go to McDonald's, Jack in the Box, In-N-Out, any one of the Burger King, Carl's Jr. for much, much cheaper compared to that. It's almost like those hipster spots at the farmer's market. The 3 most expensive things: millennial burger spots, obviously a food truck in a high touristy area like that, and 3, those hipster tents at the farmer's market where they charge you like $30 for a bag of popcorn because it's locally made. Listen, if you buy a house that's from an iconic TV show like Full House, be prepared for tons of people to be outside taking pictures of your home. If you want to live off the grid, this is the complete opposite thing that you should do. The iconic house from Full House, it just sold for $6 million. And the article that I'm looking at from cracked.com gave out the full address. And I'm sure you can find the full address elsewhere, but yeah, it's located at 1709 Broderick Street in San Francisco's Pacific Heights. It's 3,737 square feet. It's 3 stories. The interior has been somewhat modernized. It was built in 1883, and I've seen these houses in person. These houses in San Francisco are no joke. Like, you pay tons of money for something. Normally, you pay tons of money for something incredibly small. I mean, $6 million is kind of normal when buying a house, especially in San Francisco, in California, out of all places. It even offers views of the San Francisco Bay. But the house has been a magnet for fans, attracting up to 1,000 visitors on weekends alone. Neighbors have described the situation as a nightmare with clogged streets, limited sidewalks. I mean, could you imagine? You just want to make a trip to the grocery store. You got to battle through people taking pictures of your home. You can't. So here's the thing. Us dudes, for some reason, just like to stare out the window. And every time I do that, I'm in like a t-shirt and boxers. If I lived here, it would suck. People would get me in every single photo. They'd be, throwing up after they see it. What is that? Why is that guy in the shot there? I can't tell what's worse, the amount of people at this house or the people that are throwing pizzas on top of the Breaking Bad house, which I think didn't they build like a giant gate around the Breaking Bad house because of that problem? No, I feel that one's definitely worse. Peach's Pit Party on K-Bear 101. I just got reminded by not only the Idaho Transportation Department, but also the Idaho Falls Regional Airport because I follow them on Facebook. Less than 1 month from now. Less than 1 month, I should say. Less than 1 month until you must have a real ID to travel on any domestic flight. You must have that Star card. And I was panicking slightly. I'm like, wait, do I have my Star card? I quickly got my wallet out, then realized, oh yeah, wait. When I got my license out here years ago, I got my Star card, and I'm gonna have to renew my license here shortly and update my picture. Yeah, I was looking at it. I was like, man, no more hair. It all moved to my face. Do you also lie on the weight on the Star card? On the ID overall? Because I was looking at mine. I'm like, mine says 250. Yikes. I wish I was. So I fell into one of those cursed corners of the internet today. Apparently George Washington kept a travel diary that reads like the world's first Yelp reviews. Like, yeah, father of the country, crossed the Delaware, but also elite level complainer. He stayed at one inn and wrote, "Not a good house. The road was intolerable bad." That's 1700s for 1 star, no hot tub, and the wagon parking was a nightmare. Another one he called a very indifferent one, which sounds harmless, but that's basically colonial for "this tavern ruined my life and I'm telling Martha" type of thing. And honestly, I respect it. This guy helped invent a country, still had time to throw shade at a bad night's sleep. Meanwhile, I'm over here writing 3-paragraph essays on the Taco Bell app because they forgot my chalupa. Again. Today's What the Headline has broken the Florida streak. It comes straight from Minnesota, where a woman named Vanessa Guerrera literally journaled her crimes like it was the burn book from Mean Girls. She wrote an actual quote here: "Totally stole a car today. Something I never thought of doing. Super freaking out about it." Like, Vanessa, you're not on this quirky coming-of-age arc. This is not a deleted scene from Lady Bird. You stole a 2004 Ford Freestar. That's not a car. That's a beige Apology on wheels. She sold it for scrap, told the cops she had no idea it was stolen. Meanwhile, her diary is like, "Dear Journal, crime is fun." And where did police find that diary? From her mom. Which, by the way, just feels like a betrayal and peak small-town energy. Like, imagine your mom turning over your Lisa Frank confessionals to the sheriff. Also worth noting that Vanessa was a DoorDash driver, which means at one point someone in Mankato got their Taco Bell delivered in a stolen minivan by a woman who was actively on probation and documenting her life like she's auditioning for True Crime the Musical. She's facing up to 5 years in prison, but on the bright side, at least, she'll finally have time to finish her journal. So apparently there's this new trend on TikTok where Gen Z is making coffee at home. Like, they just discovered that you can, in fact, brew your own caffeine without needing a $7 oat milk Vortex latte served by a guy with a nose ring and a superiority complex. They're calling it budget-friendly barista hacks. The rest of us, we call it what our parents did every morning since, 1972. Like, I watched one video where this kid was amazed that you could use a French press. Bro, that's not innovation. That's you reverse engineering the 90s. Next thing you know, they'll be like, hot tip, you can boil water on the stove if you don't have a smart kettle. Welcome to the resistance, Gen Z. You've unlocked coffee pot. So, on Facebook, people will literally complain about anything. And I mean anything. So I found the happy hour section of the radio prep. Feel-good stories, right? This guy named Chris Owings, he enjoyed a long career in Major League Baseball that lasted 11 years, but he played for 8 different teams in all. That's a lot of traveling, a lot of moving. That long career started with Arizona. He was on the Diamondbacks, and recently Chris returned to Arizona to visit a high school baseball team down there. Owings stopped in, surprised the Mountain High School Jaguars, brought gifts including bats, cleats, batting gloves that were used during his career. One player on the team, Noah Burra, described the visit by saying, "It's kind of surreal. You don't wake up every day and see an MLB player and get a new bat." Chris also presented the team with a $1,000 grant and took time to answer questions, share stories, give advice. One of the coaches told me, "Don't stop here," Chris told the players. "You've got to keep getting better, keep working," and honestly, that's what got me drafted. Owens said he hopes the equipment and the pep talk help the players push forward. "These are bats that have been in games," Chris explained, "so to see them being used here is awesome," is what he said. Now, I asked ChatGPT, I'm like, hey, how would somebody on Facebook, if they wanted to be a downer, how would they react to this story? And it nailed it. I mean, there's a few different comments here. 11 years, 8 teams, sounds like nobody wants to keep them. Used gear? So trash from the garbage? Trash from his garage? Wow, a $1,000 grant, MLB pension must be really generous. That's definitely what somebody would put. Cool, he gave a motivational speech. So did my regional manager last week. This is just PR to make himself feel relevant again. Another comment that's not real. That's not real. But it would be what somebody comments on Facebook, for sure. Now it's time for To Peach Their Own. What's something you didn't realize was expensive until you actually had to buy it. I talked about it earlier on the show. Childcare, for sure. A new mattress, talked about that. Luggage, makeup, birthday parties, for sure. Weddings, definitely one, especially if the marriage shortly ends after that. Yikes. Big divorce, no thank you. So, if you have an answer for today, is to peach their own. Call in right now, 208-535-1015. What's something you didn't realize was expensive until you actually had to buy it? Let me know. All right, there we go. How's it going?
Hey, Peaches, how you doing, bud?
Oh, doing fantastic. Happy pre-Friday. What's your answer for to peach their own?
Betcha. So, I'm pretty sure it's already been spoken, but groceries are one thing, that's kind of probably beaten down pretty well. But another thing, I just, beer. I went and bought beer, and I was like, my goodness, how did a 12-pack of beer go from $8 to $12 in like 6 months?
Now, what's your guess for how much beer is going to cost at the ACDC show at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena for one 16-ounce cup? How much do you think it's going to cost?
Okay, so the last Dodger game I went to was about, it was last year. I know you're a Dodger fan, or at least I hope you're a Dodger fan.
Of course.
Anyways, yeah. So last time I went down there, it was $16. And it was like $19 for like a Modelo. ACDC, I'm guessing $25 for a beer.
Right, I'm guessing that too. Someone's going to buy 4 of them, and it's going to be $100 total, not without the tip, and then they're going to spill it all and cry. It's going to be bad.
Yeah. Well, you're a rock show. That's what happens. That's what happens. So yeah, I'm guessing $25 a beer. Yeah, $100 for a 4-pack. Yeah, absolutely.
Peaches Pit Party on K-Bear 101. I did some digging, and I found some pictures of what potentially could be at the merch table at the ACDC show next Friday. They're kicking off their tour tonight at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, and they have this really, really cool poster available at acdc.com I was looking at, and this poster is so cool. It has a giant Viking with lightning coming out of his hands, and then it says ACDC Power Up Tour 2025, US Bank Stadium, all that fun stuff. But it's $75 for this specific poster. I spent $50 at the Primus show for that poster, and I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? That's a little pricey for a poster, but $75? I don't know. I don't know if that's because it's being sold online or if it's actually going to be $75 at the venue. I'm excited to see what potentially the Rose Bowl one will look like. I might have to get it. But then I'm going to be worried about, taking it back here with me on the plane, having it get ruined in my backpack. I might need to roll it up and get like a poster tube or something. But I also feel like I'll definitely have buyer's remorse spending $75 on a poster. I'll have to wait and see if somebody will upload the official merch table from the Minneapolis show tonight and see if there's anything for much cheaper that I could potentially take back with me. Thanks for listening to Peaches Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peaches Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, a.k.a. Brendan Peach, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.